What up? It's Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, depending what time zone you're in, it's Tuesday night. For some of y'all, it's Wednesday morning, my third favorite day of the week. Y'all have made it halfway up the mountaintop. I'll be there in the morning. All right, I have a great show set up for you today. We have a story in every section or every segment that we have. This doesn't always happen. In breaking news, iHeart does a major deal with Netflix. We told you in yesterday's episode about Charlemagne and iHeart. Here is the conclusion. In Behind the Feed and Off the Record, Erika Kirk and Candace Owens will reveal what they spoke about yesterday in today's show. In lead stories, Rob Reiner and his son got into an argument at a party, and also Michelle Obama comments on Rob Reiner and his wife. Donald Trump blames Brown University for the reason why they do not have the person who was the alleged person in the incident. And also, that didn't make sense, but y'all know what I mean. And also, 50 Cent starts beef with Jim Jones and his crew. In quick news, we're going to talk Elon Musk, PayPal, no more free returns, Apple, Michigan head coach Tasha K, the hero from Bondi Beach in Australia, and Stephen A. Smith. It's been a while that we talked about Stephen A. Smith, but there was a comment left, and it has ignited me to ask you guys a question about Stephen A. Smith, so make sure you stay tuned for that. In social discussion, the segment that we are trying to expand, we may have gone a little ham, but we have 10 topics to talk about. Can women handle a good man? A woman with money versus a man with money. Have we confused what real love is? Do women know how to treat a man? Should you talk to your friends about your marriage? Where are you at with love? Should you worry if she is texting other guys? Oprah says you should not snoop in his phone. Why do men cheat with less attractive women? And dating rules have huge double standards. As always, we're going to close out the show with comments and question of the day. Woo! We got a show for y'all, man. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, radio, your devices up. Come on. Let's go. It's almost hump day around the world. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. All right, in our first breaking story, I'm going to get geeked out here a little bit. All right, as soon as I was actually about to start this show, I saw this on DJ Envy's page. Here is the post with the Breakfast Club traditional image, and he reposted from Netflix. Starting early 2026, Netflix will be the exclusive home for the radio version of iHeartRadio's top podcasts, including The Breakfast Club, My Favorite Unaliving, Joe and Jada, Dear Chelsea, Bobby Cast, etc. This is important alongside a robust slate of additional shows. Then I saw Charlemagne post this along with The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club is coming to Netflix in January. Charlemagne wrote this: 2025, 9-year that equals completion, snake year that equals shedding. Let's try this new skin. We truly thank God for it all. And then, of course, he also put headlines from various media outlets: Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Business Insider, New York Times. So this was a big deal, a big announcement. Yesterday, we spoke to you guys about Tasha K putting out some allegations that iHeart may not be signing Charlemagne back because of his political views. His contract is up January 21st, I think, 2026. We played you an interview that he did in 2025, September, where he was kind of dodging the question. And we said yesterday that looking at Char's past, he is setting up for an announcement and he's letting everybody just talk. And yesterday, after we posted our show, I saw a bunch of content creators being like, yo, this is the end of the Breakfast Club. Is Charlemagne getting fired? Has he gone too far? Whatever, blah, blah. And if you go back and listen to our show, I was like, Char is clever at utilizing the media to his advantage and kind of wanting to sort out the haters. You know what I'm saying? And we knew that from when they hired Jess Hilarious and the Lauren LaRosa, even when Angela Yee left. Charlemagne, you know his MO and how he moves. Lo and behold, I was right. 24 hours later, after everybody was speculating that it might be over, it comes out and it's like, yo, the Breakfast Club is going over to Netflix. Now, this is not actually talking about Charlemagne's contract, but I can almost guarantee you that there is no way that Netflix would do a deal for the Breakfast Club and it not involve Charlemagne. So this pretty much lets you know that his contract was renewed. I still think that we'll get more details. Maybe there might be some other things that go along with this. Maybe he is not there daily anymore. We talked about that yesterday. Maybe he goes into a different, maybe the Breakfast Club goes into a different format. Char's been talking about that a lot for the past couple of years, that he doesn't always want to be lead talent. Lauren LaRosa is dubbed and has been kind of put into a position where, yes, she is senior news programmer or director, whatever her position is, but she's really making a name for herself as talent. So I wouldn't be surprised if you hear, renewed his contract, but there's some difference in his contract. But there is no way that Netflix would sign them on and Char would be completely gone. So I think that answers that question from yesterday. Now let's talk about Netflix, YouTube, and their move. We talked, I think, about a few months ago, and we let you guys know about Netflix's new move getting into podcasting. And I was very excited about it because myself, I'm a content creator. So whether you have a podcast, you call it a podcast or a show or whatever, just like our show here is predominantly on YouTube, we take the audio, we put it on podcast platforms, right? And I love anything that's moving away from legacy media. I always say that we are the future. New media is the future. You saw it in the Diddy trial. You're going to see it in more trials going out where, I'd say maybe even 5 years ago, new media YouTubers or content creators would not have any sort of respect in the media. And now you see a lot of people getting their news directly from content creators. So I love this, and adding in Netflix into the fold makes everything that much more exciting. With this news being released, it does still beg the question, is Netflix going to become the hub for video? They're going at YouTube. They are clearly going at YouTube. And of course, it's not going to happen overnight. And you see them taking some of the biggest podcasts in the world and bringing them over to Netflix. So you do that, you bring a bunch of people over, and then you build out your brand, or you build out your video podcast. And very important to note, it's not audio. Netflix will be the video platform for people that have shows and or podcasts. So yeah, the business model is you bring over the big stars, you bring people over, and once you build that out, and you maybe can go to smaller shows, et cetera, et cetera. Now, important to note something about the Breakfast Club. Now, the Breakfast Club has tried 2 different video formats. The first one was on Revolt. That didn't work out. They also had a period of time where their video was on BET. So they had 4 different ways. You could listen to the Breakfast Club on the radio. You could listen to the Breakfast Club on podcast. You could listen to the Breakfast Club on YouTube and then on BET. The same thing with Revolt. Now what's going to be different, and by the way, those 2 we could just say they were unsuccessful because it didn't stay on Revolt and it didn't stay on BET, so they weren't successful. Now them going on Netflix, the only difference is that it's exclusive now. So for those of you who are used to watching the Breakfast Club on YouTube, that's how I watch it, you will not be able to get it on YouTube anymore, and now will have to go over to Netflix. So I think that gives them a greater chance, because you won't be able to digest the video anywhere else but on Netflix. Whereas before, you could watch it on BET or on YouTube. So there was no reason to leave YouTube. However, there is still some sort of evidence that people like digesting the video elements of the Breakfast Club on YouTube. They know they have that from Revolt and BT. So it remains to be seen if it will work over on Netflix. Will people watch video podcasts on Netflix? Is the Breakfast Club going to still break up their episodes like how they do now, where it's news, this celebrity gossip, and that's, and there's like maybe 6 posts a day? Are they going to put the entire show over on Netflix? That remains to be seen. So regardless of all that, very exciting news, I think, coming out, because at the end of the day, it just shows that new content, new media, podcast, YouTube, Netflix is the frontier. And if you notice, nobody in this conversation is talking about CBS, ABC, Fox, CNN, et cetera, et cetera. Legacy media is over. Where the future of new media and content creation lives remains to be seen. Is it Netflix? Is it Spotify? Is it YouTube? I'll close off with this. I think YouTube will have the edge over all these platforms because they have the independent show that doesn't require a deal. You can right now start a YouTube page and get a camera and get a microphone and put out a show. Now, of course, you're going to have to build an audience. By the time you have a certain amount of subscribers, then you could monetize and build and build and build. Every content creator has done it. And I think that you can also still do that on Spotify. But until Netflix allows that, and I'm pretty sure they will, I still think that YouTube will always have the edge because you could pick and choose from various amounts of different content creators. So Netflix will take the big guys, the top 10 podcasts, put them over there and build out. But until they allow access for my show, other content creator shows that have platforms, not as big as the Breakfast Club, but we have platforms, people that watch us every day, until they take an example of the Trent Out Loud show and allow me to put my show over on Netflix, I don't think any of them can compete with YouTube. It is a different beast. We will see if Netflix is only trying to take mainstream new media and if they will allow real independent, self-sufficient content creators like myself. Until Netflix does that, I think YouTube has the advantage. All right, that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, in our first and only story behind the feed and off the record, Erika Kirk and Candace Owens officially have met. It's over, and Candace Owens posted this. Erika Kirk and I had an extremely productive 4.5-hour meeting that I think we both feel should have taken place a lot earlier than it did. We agreed much more than we had anticipated. Of course, we also disagreed on various points and people as well. More importantly, we were able to share intel and clarify intent. I think that's really important. Clarify intent. I will, of course, have a full rundown for you all tomorrow, which is actually today, as I am currently exhausted. But I wanted to quickly let you know that obviously nothing was held back. And the immediate result was that tensions were thawed. That's kind of like a middle of the road because she's like, tension is not over, but they thawed. And she said, more importantly, we were able to share intel and clarify intent. So it seems to me that it's like, hey, this is my intent. That is your intent. Don't think that I am doing this for this. Don't think I'm doing that for that. And it seems like it was an amicable, y'all know what I mean. It was an understanding of thanks for coming together. Let's part our ways and continue to do our thing, but let's respect a couple of things and boundaries. That's what it seems like to me. Candace also put out a video, which I'm not even going to play here, but she came out, she's like, hey guys, I'm alive. I just wanted to let you know I'm alive, which to me felt a little bit, I don't know what the word is, performative a little bit. Like, and she put it on her YouTube page and she put it on her story. She put it on her Instagram, like, hey guys. And I just felt like at the end of the day, we're still having this conversation about your friend who was unalived. So I don't know. I'm on the fence with this. Of course, I'm going to watch the full episode tonight. But again, it's like it's a soap opera. And that's what I don't like. It's like, all right, guys, I'm alive. I'm well. I made it out. I know you're expecting it today, but stay tuned tomorrow because we need another 24 hours to build up the hype for this. And I guarantee you, this episode is going to be probably upwards of maybe her biggest show ever, maybe 10 million views. So far, the highest Charlie Kirk live, I think, has been 9 million that I found. And I went back and I did the diagnostics, and before the Charlie Kirk thing, she was getting around 1 million, which is still amazing. But then it went up to the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 million, and now settled around to 2 or 3, which leads me to believe it's like, hey, it's 2 or 3. Let's meet together and I'll bring it back up to 10. And it's like, I'm exhausted and need to take some time. I need to build up anticipation. I'm going to still lead on the side of money, clicks, and, her show. And I have said since the beginning, I've flipped and flopped a little bit, but I think I pretty much have fallen on the side of having a little bit of discomfort with Candace Owens and the way how she's dealing with her friend being unalived. I feel like you can get to the bottom, get to the truth, and make the public aware, even on your platform, but making 5x, 10x times your money and putting that in your pocket in the spirit of the truth about your friend unaliving, me personally as a content creator, doesn't sit well with me. You never know what you're going to do in a situation, but I don't think that I would be able to come onto my show and talk about my best friend being unalived, see my views, see my AdSense dollars 10x, see my show become the #1 show in the world, knowing that it's because of this topic that in my heart I feel is solely to get to the bottom of this, but I get to buy a new house and I get to buy a new Lambo and a new Ferrari, or get investments or a boat or a yacht, or however she chooses to spend her money, or even if she keeps it an investment for her kids, that makes me feel uncomfortable. And tonight, I'm going to be watching for that. I would like to think that what I would do in this situation is say, okay, look, I'm going to respect Charlie, I know you're his wife, I'm this or whatever, blah, 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 blah. I am not going to stop my pursuit, but what I want to make clear is that this is for one reason and one reason only, and that's to get to the bottom of what happened to my friend. So from the past 2 months, this extra money and going forward, I have a team that could easily do this, and I am going to divulge what that money is, and I'm going to put it in a trust for Charlie's kids. And, I don't want it to go to you or anybody at TP USA, but I want it to go directly to his kids. It's going to be in a trust, and they can access half of it at 25 and the other half at 35. That is how you will know if she is really, truly, genuinely 100,000% really concerned with the truth about Charlie Kirk, in my opinion. Let me know what you think. And of course, let me know if you'll be tuning in today to Candace Owens to hear about her meeting with Erika Kirk. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, in our first lead story, Rob and son Nick Riener get into an argument at Conan O'Brien's Xmas party. Okay, still, people are still reeling over the unaliving of Rob and Michelle, understandably. I mean, Rob Reiner was a legend in Hollywood, and he's touched various generations across the world from his work. We spoke yesterday about his son being the suspect. I think we told you yesterday that he's been arrested. Today, we could tell you that he has been charged. I actually just found out maybe like literally half an hour before I started the show. He's not even approved to show up in court for some sort of medical or mental reason. That just shows you the mental state that he's in and how sad it is. There was reports yesterday that he was given a $4 million bond. Bail has been denied. They're keeping him. That will show you how sick he is. TMZ is reporting that allegedly Saturday night, Rob and Nick got into a huge argument at Conan O'Brien's party. And it was a loud argument, so much so that reportedly Rob and Michelle left. People don't know if Nick left. And there's also reports coming out that Michelle, the mom, for months has been saying that they are at their wits' end, is the quote, when it comes to Rob. They have tried everything. They don't know what to do. They have exhausted themselves. And you could see that allegedly that boiled over Saturday night. And obviously it was in front of a lot of people. And I'm sure that's how come the police were very quick and able to find out that it was Rob, because I'm sure they just spoke to people at the party or people pointed to Rob right away. He clearly was not well. Side note, just to talk about mental health again, I was texting my mom. Actually, she texted me and she said, it's so sad to see parents bringing a child into the world, and the first day your child is born, you're kissing him or her and you're elated and feel so much joy, only to see that years later, that child that you're bringing into this world can do this to you. And I said, yeah, Mom, that is really sad. That just goes to show you how difficult and serious mental health is. And she wrote back and said, no, it was DRUG. My mom is an older Jamaican woman, and we have this conversation a lot. So I just like to take these opportunities to highlight this. You or anybody, when you hear somebody is on DRUGs, I think a lot of people still feel like, yeah, it's an addiction, but it's like, oh, they're on it because they want to have fun and they want to party and they're out their mind. People that are on DRUGs are self-medicating themselves because they're unable to sustain and get their own help and get legal medication. That is all it is. It's somebody self-medicating themselves. I talk about this in my second book. Now, I wasn't at the extent of Rob, but when I was going through my issues in 2018, 2019, I started getting into therapy, and I realized the things I was doing, for me, it was drinking and smoking, etc., not hard DRUGs. But I didn't realize that partying and doing that every night, I was self-medicating myself to try to get away from my demons. And then, and for me, my demons was life, my company not doing well, and other things, right? And then I didn't realize about self-medication. And we're looking like, hey, you want to take medication? I'm like, I don't need medication. No, I'll just go out and party and I'll just do this. And a lot of people don't realize, even on a smaller scale, a lot of you are self-medicating yourself because you don't want to deal with the real issues. Take this times 100, and you have somebody like Rob that has been known to have a history of self-medicating himself with hard DRUGs. And a lot of people don't realize it all boils down to the same thing, where we do not have enough resources and access to mental health issues to deal with our mental. And unfortunately, we get caught up in life and we think that we could deal with it on our own. So while, yes, he was an addict, it still comes from a mental health space. And we need to do more as a society to give more people more access to resources. I know there were multimillionaires, but just think about a multimillionaire not being able, and a mom being like, what can we do? Versus people that don't have money. Think about those people that don't have access to help. So governments and, money and distribution of funds, we need to take care of our society better when it comes to mental health. This weekend alone, you have Rob, you have Brown University, and you have Australia. These are all a result of huge mental health issues. Australia is a father and son unaliving 15 people. That is not sane, normal mental people. Okay? Anyways, also, sorry, I had to go off there for a second. Also, Michelle Obama commented, the Obamas were supposed to see Rob and Michelle Riener the night of their passing. Michelle debunks Trump's comments about the late director. Just wanted to put this out quickly for you to see. Take a listen.
How long have you known the Rieners?
We've known them for many, many years, and we were supposed to be seeing them that night. Let me just say this. Unlike some people, Rob and Michelle Riener are some of the most decent, courageous people you ever want to know.
I like how she said, unlike some people. Just call him out. Say, unlike the president, Donald J. Trump. In closing, I just want to say something about Trump. We talked about it yesterday, the True Social post. It has blown up. It's everywhere now. A disgusting, deplorable post from the President of the United States blaming Rob and Michelle's unaliving on them not liking Trump, which is just not just distasteful, it's misinformation, because we know that it has to do with Rob and his mental health issues. It has nothing to do with Trump. Just the ego is ridiculous on that. But I want to say something. A lot of Republicans and a lot of people in MAGA is saying Trump should have said nothing. We do not stand by this. A lot of people on True Social were saying, hey, take this down, take this down. And while, to be fair, I want to give them credit for saying it out loud, I want to go on record as saying, I don't think it actually really bothers them. I think they know that it's wrong, but I think deep down, I think they like this. And I'll tell you why. They like Donald Trump's, what's the word? I was going to say ignorance, but it's not ignorance. They like his unwavering, steadfast, unwavering, steadfast. I'm trying to find one last word to bring it together. But he is always him, and it doesn't matter who he is dealing with. That's why you'll hear Republicans say, we don't really like the way how he goes about things, but at least we know who he is. So although you'll hear them say something like this, like, this is distasteful, whatever, deep down they're like, yo, he doesn't care. He doesn't care if it's Rob Reiner. He doesn't care if it's this. He doesn't care if it's Obama. He doesn't care. And I feel like they like that unwavering, steadfast, I am not going to move. I am not going to back down. This is who I am. And whether it's somebody being unalived, whether it be what, I don't care. Like, I don't care. And I think deep down, the Republicans and MAGA like that he's like that. And I think they feel like that type of mentality will protect them, will make sure that whatever, whoever, through whatever, he will always be him. And I think they like that about him. They just won't say it. That's my piece on Donald Trump and Rob Reiner. Y'all weigh in on the comment section below. All right, to further prove my point, Donald Trump says that was a school problem. Donald Trump on why Brown University incident has not been resolved yet and the suspect has not been identified. 2 days after the Brown University shooting, authorities have not identified the person. Donald Trump was asked why Brown University incident has not been identified, or the person has not been identified, and said the FBI was not the one who initially responded, noting the situation was handled by the school and its own security. Sir, this is the FBI. And you want to blame the school guards? This is what MAGA likes. He will drill down. It doesn't matter. It's Trump. It's the FBI. It's his DOJ. It's his Pentagon. Doesn't matter what you're doing in the Venezuela oceans. It doesn't matter what you're doing with Epstein. It doesn't matter how many times Kash Patel messes up. This is Trump's administration, and it's the best thing ever, and it's the golden era of whatever, and we don't care. And that is what MAGA likes. Listen to this video.
Hopefully they're going to capture.
Has Kash Patel told you why it's been so difficult for the FBI to identify who the is?
Well, it's always difficult. So far, we've done a very good job of doing it. But you really have to ask the school a little bit more about that because, this was a school problem. They had their own guards, they had their own police, they had their own everything. But you'd have to ask that question really to the school, not to the FBI. We came in after the fact.
Imagine the president of the United States being like, yo, those school guards, like, hey, I mean, we are the FBI, pretty much like the greatest force, like the resources that the FBI has. For Donald Trump to be saying, yo, we came in after? You came in after, but you are 100,000 times more powerful than security guards at a school in Rhode Island? Like, hey, yo, don't talk to me about my FBI, like we came after. We got to talk to the school. This is what MAGA likes, man. And if you ask me, a real man and a real leader has no problems admitting the truth and admitting where they can improve. That is my take on this. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, in our lead story, 50 Cent calls Jim Jones and podcast crew squatters after Diddy Doc criticism. All right, 50 Cent and Jim Jones's ongoing feud resurfaces after Jim Jones comments on Netflix documentary series Sean Combs' The Reckoning, which was executive produced by 50 Cent. The renewed back and forth began after Jim Jones referred to the 4-episode project as a mockumentary, according to Hot 97. Jones made the remarks as an episode of Let's Wrap It Up podcast alongside Fabulous, Dave East, and Mano, where he questioned the documentary's credibility and intent. In response, 50 Cent posted on Instagram and accused Jones and the podcast crew of financial issues, writing, "These guys are squatters. They own $250,000 for the space they were filming their podcast." He added, "These bums are trying to win Best Dress awards and can't pay their bills." All right, so here's an image that Mano put up of 50 Cent, and they're going back and forth. Mano, Fab, Jim Jones are the latest people in the industry going after 50 Cent and this Diddy documentary. And I think after a week or almost probably 2 weeks now, I finally come to a conclusion and I understand why people in the industry feel so different than you at home. Now, when the documentary came out, I was one of the first ones to report on it on my show. Remember I told you guys, I stayed up. I was literally to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Then I finished it right before my show. I was able to report on it 10 hours after it came out. Some people took a little longer. It took them hours to watch it, etc. And I came out and I was like, yo, guys, I watched it. Don't need to watch the first 3 episodes. The juice is in the 4th episode. I don't think it was an amazing documentary. And it could have been an amazing documentary if he just put maybe like an hour and a half and maybe made it 1 episode. Couple of people dragging me in my comment section like, oh, you're fans of Diddy. And I was like, listen, my real out louders know that I'm not a fan of Diddy. I'm just objective. And I gave my opinion on the documentary. And then more and more people came out and they were following exactly what I said. And I couldn't understand. I'm like, how was I so wrong? Like, clearly the documentary did amazing. It was number 1 in 50 countries. It beat out Stranger Things. It was number 1, et cetera, et cetera. And I came out after, I was like, I was clearly wrong. And that no problems admitting when I was wrong. But I still did, even though when I said that, I still played Torre, content creators, Marlon Wayans, and a lot of people saying, oh, a bunch of things in that documentary were misconstrued. They were put in different orders, to try to create a narrative that we in the industry know is not true. Not defending Diddy, but we're just questioning the documentary. And I realize now why people like Torre, Jim Jones, Mano, Ja Rule, well, Ja Rule hates 50 Cent, but Ja Rule, Marlon Wayans, and a bunch of other people have said the same thing I have said. And I think it's because, and Shar said this, I'll give him credit, Shar on the Breakfast Club said this, the documentary, for those who are not in the industry and know everything that happened from Tupac, Biggie, the contracts, the funeral, and all this, if you don't know and you're just a casual watcher and you watch the documentary and don't know that the order and the way that it was put together is incredibly misleading, you would sit there and be like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So now I understand why it's number 1 for the audience at home that it's not in the industry. I totally understand it now. And I want to watch it through that perspective, and I'll probably love it. That's why Mano says here, where he says he questions the documentary's credibility and intent. And that's the exact same thing Torre said. And I told you guys, Torre was in the courtroom. Torre is a legendary journalist that covered the whole Tupac and Biggie incident, and he hates Diddy. And I was like, how come he's questioning it? So I finally figured out the non-industry people, the casual watchers, like Shar said, what 50 did was take all of these stories for the past 30 years, put it together all in one, and put it together in a way that was so skewed and so leaning to one side. And if you don't know, you're like, this guy's psychotic, like keep him in jail forever. The industry people, somebody like Torre that was like, hey, 50 took my interviews and put them in such a weird order that's making you think this, then I see why the industry doesn't like the documentary, questions the circumstances and the intents, but you at home love it. I like when things make sense. I literally for 2 weeks have been like, what is going on? And I'm trying to tell you that a lot of people in the industry will say this and still hate Diddy, but be like, what is 50 doing? 50 has made a lot of people unhappy with him in the industry, like behind the scenes. Yes, there is the, hey, kudos to you that you have a number one documentary, but what the heck was that? And he's getting a lot of backlash behind the scenes. And of course, even some people who are kind of like not in the industry, but like content creators who know or whatever, he's getting a lot of backlash. And you might see him start backpedaling a little bit. But anyways, latest feud, 50 Cent, Jim Jones, Fabulous, and Mano over the documentary. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to quick news. Ring my bell. All right, we're going to get through quick news really quick today because we got to get to a lot of stuff in social discussion. So, in our first quick story, Elon Musk is now worth $6 billion. That means he could give every American $1 million and still have $267 billion left. That is crazy. First of all, Elon, you should give every American $1 million, A. B, I wanted to put this in here quickly just to show you guys how we as a society have such short-term memory. It was in this year, 2025, that Elon Musk was the most hated person in America and almost the world. You remember Doge, you remember Tesla, the stock, people are like, I'll never buy. Boom. This guy left Doge, put out some comments about Donald Trump. Trump's in the Epstein files. We don't like each other anymore. Oh, okay. He's not that bad. Shows up at Charlie Kirk's memorial, is still friendly with Donald Trump, just to show you that it's really just WWE. And they were just doing that for him to gain back his popularity. And by the end of the year, everything is okay. Everything is back. He renewed and has a new deal with his shareholders. He's worth $600 billion on his way to being the first trillionaire ever in the world, all in the same year. They play in our faces, and I blame us, man. Short-term memory. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, in our second quick story, PayPal is making major moves as the company applies to become a bank. PayPal applied today, December 15, 2025, to become a bank by filing application with the Utah Department of Financial Institutes and the FDIC to create PayPal Bank, a Utah chartered industrial loan company that will allow them to offer FDIC in-secured deposits, interest-based savings, and more direct small business lending, reducing reliance on partners and strengthening their financial offerings. I think this is a good move. Shout out to PayPal. For those of you who remember, Elon Musk used to be even part of PayPal, or was he like a co-creator? Anyways, I like this. This is kind of like new media, but in the banking world. And I think the more independents or smaller banks that we have, the better it is for small entrepreneurs. And I used to have a lot of dealings with PayPal. Some arguments kind of like back and forth, but ultimately, I think that this is good. So look out for a PayPal bank near you. All right, in our third quick story, no more free returns. Retailers introduce return fees for the holiday season. Retailers across the U.S. are cracking down on free returns as the cost of handling returns soars and abuse of generous policies become more common. Many stores that offer hassle-free free return shippings are now charging fees when customers mail items back. And it happened just as the holiday season peaks. According to recent reports, chains like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Macy's, JCPenney, and J. Crew have set specific return shipping or processing fees that are deducted from refunds, often around $8 or $9 a package. This sparks a significant shift from the widespread free return era that customers have grown used to. I'm going to put this up here. Marshall's new return fee, $11.99. TJ Maxx, $11.99. Macy, $9.99. JCPenney, $8. J. Crew, $7.50. And holiday return deadlines for Amazon, Walmart, Target, and Best Buy. As a former retailer, I did this a long time ago, especially in the sneaker industry. We used to have, I think it was 30-day returns, and then it was a free return. So people on release day buy a Jordan, buy a this, buy a Dunk. We pay to ship it to you. You put it on StockX. You wait for 30 days. Let's say you set it at making $30 or $50. Okay, it sells. Cool, you keep it. Well, if it doesn't sell, then you wait your 25 days. You take it and you ship it back, and the retailer has to pay for that back and forth. Now, I understand in these bigger box stores, people are not buying to resell. So I understand it's different, but I think this comes from the independent retailers being like, hey, customers are taking advantage of this. And in the bigger stores, what I think is happening is you'll go online and be like, you buy 20 things, you ship it to your house for free, you try them on, you sit there, you're like, oh, I might keep 2. Oh, I'm not too sure. I'll see if my sister wants this. However, oh, it's 90 days. Okay, now I'll ship it back. It's out of season. They got to take it, put it back. And it's just losses. And with tariff going up and, shipping being a little bit more expensive, it was just a matter of time before, big box stores would start this. It always starts in independent, and then you see it, and it will always go over to the bigger guys later. Just a heads up, no more free shopping. Your personal assistant, like, I'll just pick a bunch of things and return it back. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. All right, in our fourth quick story, Apple is selling 8 iPhones every single second. IDC reports that December 2025, the forecast projected is projected to ship roughly 247.4 million iPhones in 2025. That works out to roughly 470 iPhones per minute, around 677,000 per day, or around 20 million per month. On July the 31st, 2025, Tim Cook said the total iPhone sales have topped 3 billion since 2007. All right, you guys know I'm an Apple geek, and for my real, back in the day listeners, I used to really go back and forth with Android and Apple. I am Apple through and through. I think we told you guys maybe a month or so ago that I think for the first time, the battle between Samsung and Android, Apple is winning, and it looks like they're even winning even more, where they're shipping out 8 iPhones a second. Let me know if you are still Team Android or Team iPhone. All right, in our fifth quick story, Kelly Moore stands by her husband, Chevron Moore, showing support as he visits his attorney following his arrest over a confrontation with his mistress that exposed their affair and cost him his job. All right, you guys remember Chevron Moore, the Michigan head coach that was fired last week. I think we spoke about it 3 or 4 days in a row. This is an alleged new picture. I just want to put an asterisk beside this that I'm not 1,000,000% sure that this is real. I haven't seen it on a lot of posts, but I did send it to somebody that's a little close to the situation, and they say that it's real. So I'm going to put it out here. Don't normally do this, but I'm going to put this here with maybe a 2% doubt. If this is real, I just wanted to take and talk about this. If this is real, this just goes to show the love that this woman has for Chevron Moore. If you guys remember when this all unfolded, and I'm not going to go back and talk everything about it, but when this unfolded, it was reported that his mistress came out on Monday, gave receipts, gave emails. Then Chevron was fired, I think, let's say on Wednesday, either Tuesday and Wednesday. He left his home, went over to his mistress, was freaking out, went somewhere else, and his wife was the one who called the police. Not called the police for anything bad, but called the police to say, I'm concerned about him, and I want you to go after him so he doesn't do anything bad. That is a good wife. She is putting herself aside and putting his cheating and his affair aside, and is worrying about his mental state. He just lost his job. He just got exposed. He's everywhere in the newspaper. I want to make sure he's good. This is the father of my children. I want to make sure he's good. And now she's going to his attorney's office with him. And that just shows that she just wanted to make sure that he's not out here wilding out. Now, that doesn't say that she's not going to divorce him. She's not going to leave him. She's not going to do whatever. But this renews my sanctity in marriage, that she is putting herself aside, looking after her husband and her children, who's her children's father, well-being, First, this is what it seems. I'm just assuming, but she's doing that first, and then hopefully she deals with what he did to her. But seems like that's a good woman right there, man. Whew. Sucks that it doesn't seem like he was a good man to her, because he was cheating on her for 3 straight years and also cheating on his mistress with other side chicks. Some people will look and say, does he deserve this type of woman? That will be up to her. From what we see, she should leave him and she should divorce him, but that doesn't mean that she still shouldn't acknowledge the love that she has for the father of her children and make sure that his mental state is okay. Whew. Shout out to Kelly. That's a good person right there, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, in our 6th quick story, Tasha K is alleging that Marlon Wayans is suing her. She said, Marlon Wayans, the white chicks cross-dresser, is in my DMs threatening to sue me over a post that we reposted from another user's page. Why are you coming for me and not the person who originally posted it? Make it make sense. Here is the original post that it came from. We cannot confirm or deny the information, but it's funny if it is true. Check out, and the person who made the original post, extremely detailed post on our legend, Marlon Wayans. And she put the DM for Marlon Wayans, and Marlon Wayans said, hey sis, I don't know you, but everything y'all post about me is false. Out of love for my people, I'm going to give you a chance to take this down. I don't want to sue you, but I have grounds to. Can't be spreading false information out here. Have a blessed day. Now, we put this out last week, and this is what Tasha K posted. Marlon Wayans dragged on X after explosive thread accusing him of hiding a same SCX relationship and living a double life. We're not going to post again the post that she posted up. We don't want no problems with Marlon, but we posted. I didn't even read it last week. I put it up there for you guys to read. But this, I think, is a good way to question defamation. Now, we all know defamation is very clear now from Megan Thee Stallion and Milagro. And as a media entity, which Tasha K is, we could say whatever we want. You can send us a cease and desist letter, and then it will be up to us to take down what we said and retract it. That's how defamation works. Marlon, a DM is not a cease and desist letter. So if you are serious, I would suggest you send Tasha K a cease and desist letter, and then she will have to decide and take it down. And I also would love to know that if media outlets such as Tasha K or myself, if we post something that somebody says about somebody else, but we're not the ones that were saying it, and we're saying this person, let's say, Mary Jane has said this, is that defamation? Because we're not saying we're saying it. We're saying that somebody else is saying it, and we're giving you the person who's saying its name. Very interesting. We'll see if this develops. I think the fact that it's a DM, I don't think much will come of it, but he did say that he has ground. So maybe he spoke with a lawyer, and maybe the cease and desist letter will be coming. We'll stay up to date and let y'all know. All right, in our 7th quick story, the hero who disarmed the man in Australia, or one of the men in Australia, recovering after surgery, and his GoFundMe has raised over $1.3 million. A Sydney man who disarmed one of the men in the Australia incident that happened last Saturday is recovering in hospital after surgery from his wounds to his arm and hand. Ahmed, 43 years old, was identified as the bystander who charged and disarmed the man. Police say the father and son who carried out the attack in the Jewish event were the ones who unalived 15 people in one of Australia's worst incidences in nearly 30 years. The GoFundMe, $1.3 million. Love this. Love when people come together. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up on the hero. He's alive and well, recovering, and now he has a little bit of money to, I think, what did he have, like a fruit business or something? I'm sure he didn't obviously do it for this, but love to see people come together and salute and help a hero. All right, in our second quick story, this is actually like a comment of the day, but I'm turning it into something, all right? This is from one of my longtime loyal listeners, Chris Tucker, not the comedian, just somebody whose name is Chris Tucker. He said, "What up, Trent? It's your boy, Chris Tucker from Detroit, Michigan. What up, though? Shout out to Detroit. And I'm not the comedian. I've watched every show, but always forget to comment unless you trigger me with Stephen A. Smith. But I'm going to start commenting on every show if I can. Always love your show since the Diddy news. Keep doing what you do. You are still my number one show. Let's go." What up, Chris? Chris has, I think, 3 top podcasts. Myself, thank you very much. Stephen A. Smith, and Chris, I forgot what your third one was, but always honored to be in such good company and always honored to be anyone's number one show. But Chris, because you haven't commented in a while, I wanted to ask you what you think about Stephen A. Smith. Now, you have said a bunch of times that I've triggered you about Stephen A. Smith, and I would like to go on record that I was one of the first shows to start dragging Stephen A. Smith way before he said stuff about Jasmine Crockett, and now a lot of people have shifted away. So, Chris, I wanted to put this here in quick stories to make sure you heard this. I'm hoping you watched the whole entire show when you do watch. And I want to know, I started calling out Stephen A. Smith, like I said, almost, I can't remember. It was a little bit before Kamala Harris, then his Kamala Harris comments, then the Jasmine Crockett comments. And then I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? Now that everyone's caught up, I'm not even going to comment on Stephen A. Smith. And he has since like apologized to Jasmine Crockett. You know, he has made comments, and now you see him like trying to come back into the fold. And I hear that his show is really not doing very well. But Chris, I just want to know where you are at, or anybody else. Where are you guys at with Stephen A. Smith? I have made a conscious effort no longer to speak about him. Chris, I want to know, do you still watch Stephen A. Smith daily? And what do you think about his political rhetoric, especially when it comes to the culture and the women, and his stands that he takes? What I think, clearly for clicks and views, and that's always been my problem with Stephen A. Smith. I think he's a legend. Not I think, we all know he's a legend in sports and at First Take being number one. And I'm never the person that's like, oh, you know, just stick to what you know, branch out and do whatever. But since Stephen A. Smith has tried to do his YouTube show and now with his political show, it seems to me like he never gives a genuine take in politics or in just pop culture. It always seems like he's trying to give an opinion that gets clicks. And I've said from the beginning, when you are not genuine to your responses on your takes and you cannot own it, it's only a matter of time before people get so annoyed and see how just, I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say like ungenuine, but it's just a matter of time before we could see through you. I saw it through it very early, and now people are catching up and just, he'll take something and be like, and he just comes and yells, and it's like, bro, like, is that even really how you feel? And he's come back and be like, oh, I didn't really mean this and I didn't really mean that. You know, you got to just be able to be you, like how it is in sports. Anyways, going already too much about him. Let me know how you guys feel about Stephen A. Smith, and especially you, Chris. Do you still watch his show? How do you feel about him? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, so this brings us to everyone's favorite segment, comments and social discussion of the day. All right, before that, I have a very important question to ask y'all. Is your computer, laptop, or cell phone vulnerable to data breaches? Let me answer that question for you. Yes, they are if you're not using Aura, the all-in-one digital security platform. Please go to my sponsor below, aura.com/trendoutloud to get your 14-day free trial to see if any of your data has already been exposed. If you're ever wondering how scammers get your phone number or why your inbox is filled with spam, here is why. There are companies called data brokers, and they sell your data, and they do it without your consent, and they make billions of dollars selling it to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. That is why I recommend today's sponsor, Aura, to my family, friends, and out louders. Listen to this. This is the most important part. Aura takes care of the hard part for you, automatically removing your information off of these sites and keeping it off. Anything you do online, all your information is stored, sold in the background, in the light of, oh, we're just selling your information to make sure that we can market to you or make sure we could do this to you. No, sometimes your information gets in the hands of bad actors. You can email, contact, and say, hey, delete my information, or you could just use Aura to do it for you, and they automatically keep all your information off of these sites. Aura is an all-in-one digital security platform. You may already have a digital security tool, but not having Aura is like locking your front door and keeping your back door open. With Aura, you get alerts if any of your personal information is ever found on the dark web, real-time fraud alerts if your credit card or banking information is ever found. You get a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, and they also have US-based around-the-clock customer service. Also, in the event that anything should ever go wrong, Aura also offers a $5 million identity theft insurance protection package. 14 days free. Second link below, QR code beside me. You could literally just use the free link to see any of your information that's out there already. Try it out, DM me, comment below, and let me know what Aura finds out. You're going to be amazed. It's crazy, but it's free. So don't forget to sign up today. Okay. Now, I got a super chat. Super chat is from Lucy Johnson. What up, Lucy? She said, did I say super chat? Super thanks. I don't remember what I said, but I mix the twos up sometimes. Would you please stop calling him Charlemagne the God? There is one God, and it's not Charlemagne. It irks me every time I hear anyone call him a God. How about calling him Charlemagne from the Breakfast Club or just Charlemagne? There ain't any other Charlemagne out there anyways. Trent, sorry. Now, Lucy, thank you very much for your comment. I wrote back to Lucy, very plain and simple. Thank you very much for your super chat. Appreciate your support. First thing, I'm calling him that because that's his stage name. That's literally his name. I didn't make it up. Secondly, respectfully, Google the 5% Nation to get more info. He's not part of the nation, but he is said to be influenced by them. Now, we're not going to dig deep into this, but the 5%ers believe that they are gods, made in the image of gods. Black men are gods, etc., etc., etc. So Charlemagne or the 5%ers or anybody that says that, they're not saying that they are God. And just to reiterate, his name is Charlemagne the God, T-H-A, not T-H-E, which makes a difference. But I think you have heard people say we're all made in the likeness of God. We are all gods. So that's where it's coming from. He's not saying it, and I don't want to be defending him, but he's not saying as if like, I am the only God or I am God. He's more in the sense of saying that we are God-like, we are God-fearing, and we were made in the image of God. And like I said, Google 5% Nation that believes in them being gods. Okay? Thank you very much for your comment, though. Appreciate that. And thank you very much for your super thanks. Now, normally I would randomly pick a comment, but when I saw Chris's comment, I saw this one. So I'm going old school and just picking out this comment because I really, really loved it. It comes from Alaska Fitness One, and she said, I love watching your show. I usually watch on my TV at home, so I can't comment, but I'm on the road right now, and I had to tune in on my phone. I had to jump in the comment section to let you know you're absolutely doing an amazing job, Nala. What I actually also really love about this is the comments underneath. Emma Lewis said, yes, I also watch from my TV in Nala. Don't get to comment as much, and interacting with Out Louders is genuine and authentic. Then Kim writes, best show ever. And then Emma Lewis says, hey, Kim, happy Monday. So first of all, Alaska Finest, love that you're loving the show. Love that you're watching at your TV at home. And then love that you're like, man, I can't catch it on TV. I'm watching it in my phone. That just warms my heart. Thanks so much. More importantly, I love like Out Louders having their own relationships with each other. And you guys are like commenting underneath. Love that so much. And I can't wait to come out to New Orleans. I have been to like almost every place in the US. I have never been to New Orleans, and I will be coming out there one day. So shout out to you guys for that. Okay. Before we go to social discussion, which, oh my gosh, there's 10 of them. I don't know how I'm going to get this done. I think maybe I did too much, but I want to let you guys know about, super thanks. Super thanks came about from everybody asking, hey, do you have PayPal? Do you have Venmo? My favorite way, if you guys want to give back to the show, is the thanks button below. It's so easy. It's below every single video. You just press that thanks button. You'll get a dial. You could decide how much you want to give back. Why I love it is that it's direct. You could change the thanks to whatever comment you want. I get a notification. It's like sending me a text message. I'll heart it, I'll like it, and I'll reply right away, and I'll read it back on the next day's show if you'd like me to. Here's YouTube explaining it better than I can.
Buy a super thanks by clicking the thanks button under your video. There are multiple price points a viewer can purchase that each have their own special one-time animation. As an added bonus, viewers will get to post a distinct, colorful comment in your video's comment section.
All right. Also, while we're on the topic of giving back, for those of you who are interested, sign up for the Out Loud membership today. With the Out Loud membership, you get loyalty badges, emojis, member-only live stream, member-only videos, early access to new videos, and member shoutouts. And of course, you get access to my vlogs, which is behind the scene. We get a little bit more intimate and talk. When you get to the membership window, you'll see different levels. That also too was a result of Out Louder saying, hey, we want to give back a little bit more throughout the month, give us some options. So you'll see Out Loud Family, Out Loud Proud, MVP. It's like a tip menu depending on how much you want to give back. We're all the same level. Every single tier gives you the same amount of access. That's just up to you to determine how much you would like to support the show, whichever way or whichever one you decide. We just are appreciative of the support. All right. So thank you very, very much. Okay. Now, like I said, trying a new thing here with social discussion, because I love it and I know you guys love it. I got a little bit social discussion crazy, I feel, and I have 10 of them. Please let me know. It's so important to me. Let me know if you guys like it. Let me know if you guys think it makes the show too long or we should cut it up or maybe separate it and make you maybe a different show. I don't know. But now my algorithm, because they know the algorithm sees me liking this, it keeps feeding more of them. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's how I got to 10. But let's see if we can get through them. Okay. So the first one is, can women handle a good man? Whew, listen to this.
All women say they want a good man until they actually meet one and realize they're not equipped to handle him. A good man is not convenient. He doesn't bend to accommodate chaos. He doesn't rearrange his values because you're emotional.
A real good man has discipline, boundaries, and priorities that don't shift based on your mood.
And this is where women get confused. When you've never met emotional maturity, you misread everything.
You call him cold because he won't tolerate drama. You call him selfish because he protects his peace.
You label him detached
because he refuses to beg for your approval.
but that's not coldness. That is self-respect.
A man who knows his worth doesn't move from insecurity. He moves from conviction. Good men don't chase drama. They don't chase chaos. And they sure as hell don't chase women who weaponize emotion. They build, they lead, they create order. Most women aren't ready for the responsibility that comes with a stable man, because stability doesn't feed your need for emotional roller coasters. It doesn't scratch that itch for unpredictable validation. For women raised in dysfunction, peace feels boring until you lose it. A good man requires partnership, respect, and a woman who's emotionally regulated, not reactive, not reckless. Stay solid. Good men don't bend, they build. And the right woman rises to meet him.
Okay, by the way, the music behind there is a little bit loud. We didn't put that in there. That's the music. But I love this so much. I feel like almost everything in there I can identify. I feel like I am pretty much that man. I feel like I have grown into that man, especially where I am right now. We've talked about this a couple of times, where I feel like I'm at a place where I know what I want. I know what I am looking for. I am focused. I'm determined in my life and in the partner who I am looking for. I feel like I have pretty much been in this place for the past couple of years, but I feel like every year I get stronger and stronger and more determined, actually. And I do agree with the fact that a lot of women say they want and are looking for a certain type of man and really don't know how to deal with a certain type of man because they're not used to that. And they're used to the roller coaster, and they're used to the up and down, and they're used to the immaturity and the lack of strength in a real man. And I think they're not used to dealing with it. I think also too, it depends where the woman is at that time. And I think a lot of women think they're ready for a serious, stable, foundational relationship. But I actually think that not all women, I think that some women will say that, but A, don't really know how to identify it, but then B, don't know how to bring or what to bring to the table when that relationship presents to them, because it doesn't present often. I know it's a lot, but go back and listen to it. And I'm telling you, a lot of people, it's that saying, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. Like, you think you want a steadfast, serious, in-depth, real relationship. Like, you say that. Who wouldn't say that? And then you get it, and then you realize the work that it entails. You're like, what? Hold on a second. You know what I mean? Like, I said I wanted this, but I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to make that sacrifice. I got to do that. I have to be honest. I have to be loyal. I have to be this. I have to be, I have to do work. What? Yo, I have to be transparent. What? I have to be ready to be called out. What? I have to be ready to be vulnerable. What? And that all is work, and you're not ready. You think you want things. You think you want it, but you're not ready for how difficult it is. Y'all think everything is about fun and games. Love this. That's why we started out with that. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, the second social discussion is a woman with money versus a man with money. There are different rules. Very, very, I agree with this. Anyway, hold on. Let's just play the video.
A man with money is expected to share, but a woman with money is told she doesn't need a man. Same income, totally different rules. Let me explain before you get mad. In our culture, men are taught from day one that if they're not earning, they're failing. If they can't provide, they're not real men. If they don't pick up the check, they're broke or stingy. A man's value is often reduced to his financial output. Now flip the script. When women become successful, we don't expect them to carry anybody. In fact, we celebrate it as a form of freedom. Yes, queen, you're independent. She doesn't need a man. He's expected to provide, but she's expected to escape. Because if we really want partnership, then we need to stop placing all the financial burden on one side, while celebrating freedom on the other.
This one is interesting. I had to listen to it like 2 or 3 times. And I think that this is just society where it's stereotypical, like, okay, a man makes money. Okay, you find a girl, you take care of her, this or whatever, blah, blah. A girl makes money, and it's like, all right, queen, you're independent, you're this or whatever. But how I think about things is, yes, the men's version of having money is traditional, it's society. But a woman having money, I don't think that equates independence. I think that I've never been in a situation, but I know that I could be with a woman that has more money than me and still be an alpha in the relationship, and her not have to feel like she needs to be independent and needs to be on her own, because I am innately a leader. So let's just say, for example, I meet a girl, she's a cool girl or whatever, and she, I don't know, built a company and she's worth, I don't know, say $100 million. I'm still not going to feel insecure of her $100 million versus what I have, because I'm still going to be able to be in her world, and if we're married, take that $100 million and make it into $1 billion. Like, congratulations of what you did before me. Great. But I'm still going to be able to take the leadership position, not feel any way less like a man, and be able to be like, cool, you're doing this. Cool. Let me help this business go from 100 to 1,000, or sell it and diversify. Like, I don't feel like it needs to lessen her or lessen me. And I think that's just societal norms. And I think if two people are in love and two people are confident and not insecure and not worrying about societal norms and pressures, then who we are as our innate person will come through. 100%. That's just ego. All right, our third social discussion. Have we confused what real love is? Take a listen.
The biggest misconception about love is that we've confused inconsistency with excitement, and we've confused stability with boredom. We've confused that if someone shows up with effort, that they're desperate. If someone shows up for us with time and energy, we think they need us. We think that if someone actually has space for us, then they must be the loser. We believe that love means chasing someone who doesn't want to stay, rather than being with someone who never wants to leave.
Again, this is our society today. I completely agree with this, and it's something I'm trying to work on even myself. I used to be on the other side. Not necessarily in the, like, I felt like I needed to chase love, but I liked the excitement of multiple and different things. Like, I thought it was fun, you know? And I've come to a place, that's what I said, like, for the past couple of years, I've come to a place where, and this really helped me, therapy really helped me with this, where is that slow, steady boredom love is where real love is. You know what I mean? Where it's like, this is happening and that is happening because you're thinking about that person, and because this argument, because that, like, that's not love. You know what I mean? Like, love is that steady, straight line. But what we've talked about a couple of times already now is that social media, that dopamine, that lack of dopamine, being like, oh, is this really where I want to be? And, you know, if you're not there, then you're not there. But I think ultimately, as people grow and get older and mature, that stuff will fade away and you'll come back to the quote unquote boredom. And I always say this, it's not about now, it's about 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, when you're sitting down and you think you're bored now. Think about when you're 80 or 90 years old, but when the kids are gone and you could sit down in the same house with the same person day after day, Monday to Sunday. That is love. That's the person you need to find. Not the dope for me. Oh, I have to go here. I have to do it here. Oh, no. This person doesn't want me. Oh, that person does like me. Oh, this person is giving me attention. We need to chill. And it's not easy. I was there, but I'm at this chilling phase now. All right, our fourth social discussion. Do women know how to treat men? Take a listen.
Women don't even know how to treat men because they were never taught how. Boys grew up being trained from day one. Be a gentleman, open the door, protect her, provide for her. Everywhere we looked, the message was the same. Movies, books, fairy tales, the man rescues the woman. But there's a problem with that. We never saw the reverse. We never saw stories about how women should be treating men. No novels teaching girls how to respect a man. No movies demonstrating feminine loyalty, softness, or devotion. Parents don't even teach it. School doesn't even teach it. And society definitely doesn't teach that. So guess what happens? We have generations of women who expect everything, but were never taught to give anything back. So how can a woman treat a man well if she was never shown what feminine contribution even looks like? Men today are paying the price for a script that they didn't write. They were raised to give everything. Women were not raised to reciprocate.
All right, this one I'm going to have to disagree. I think this is a cultural thing. The women who I've been in serious relationships with, like live with or a long-term relationship with, have been Black West Indian women. And in our culture, the culture that I know about, it is vastly different, where you see multiple examples of how women love, treat, amplify, support, just, treat their man like everything. That is a, dare I say, I don't know. I'm just going to put it as Caribbean. Let's just put it there. I don't know if it's a Black culture. I don't want to loop in, you know what I mean? But I know that's African culture. I know it's West Indian culture. But I think maybe in other cultures, you don't see that example and you see that other example. But I'm going to say in an African and a Black, especially a West Indian culture, you see that innately. Your aunt is like that. Your mother's like that. Your sister is like that. 100,000%. So disagree with this. I think this is a cultural thing. All right, our fifth social discussion. Should you talk to your friends about marriage? Listen to this.
Why do you not talk to your girlfriends about your marriage?
If I go and tell my friend how horrible Grant was about something, which there's two sides of the story, and then I'm going to go make up with Grant, but now I've told them that Grant is domineering, Grant is controlling, he only thinks about himself. They're stuck with that. So now I've made up with my husband. I go hang out with my best friend, Susie Q. She's like, so how's Grant? Oh, is he doing the domineering thing again? Boom. I'm lit back up.
All right, so we get where she's going, right? If you talk to your friend about your significant other, they're, could either two things. They could bring it back up and then it reminds you like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Or they could also, judge you and be like, I thought you said they were this and they were, you didn't want to stay or this or whatever. And they kind of judge you. And now you got to kind of like bob and weave. I'm going to agree with this, but with an asterisk. I do not think that you should tell multiple people. Also, for the reason that whoever it is that you're telling, you're only telling your side of the story, and it's always going to skew to your side of it. But then you have 10 people who are in your ear that are only hearing your story, that have your back, and then it's very difficult to get back to that relationship. And like what she was saying, even when you're over it, they're going to put it back up in your face and they're going to judge you. But I also do think it's important to at least have one person. You should have one person who you speak to that at least you could throw things off of, like, hey, this happened in my relationship. This is what I'm thinking about doing. What do you think? So that you hear an objective, an objective opinion. And you should try to make it not a person who you know is going to try to be on your side. You got to pick somebody who's objective, who's going to hear your story and say, well, what did he say? The best is if, that person can hear from both of you. That is the best, or at least know that person. So when you're telling them the story, they're like, this doesn't sound like something Kevin would do. Are you sure, bro? You know what I mean? And hold you accountable. So it's about the people who you have in your life. But yeah, 10 people, that's a recipe for disaster. But to go through a marriage or go through a serious relationship and not talk to anybody, that's crazy work. Or get a therapist. All right, our sixth social discussion story. Where are you with love? Really like this one. Take a listen.
Where are you with love? Do you believe in it? Do you need it still so much in your life?
I believe in it, but I do understand why you got that aunt that is like, you're like in your 50s and you're like and
smart and dope.
Yeah, like and you're pretty and you're 60 and you good. Like why don't you have a man? Why I never seen you with a man? And it's like, now I know why. Some men will traumatize a woman so much that they be like, I just don't ever want to do it again. And I'm fine with that. Like, I love love and I believe in love and I believe in marriage and I believe in family and I believe in union. But I also do understand why other women, like, it's just like, I'm not doing this shit, man. I understand.
Yo, I feel this 100%. I've been talking about this. I think from a woman's perspective, what Cardi was saying, like, I've been traumatized by a man, so I'm not going to do it again. I have not been traumatized by a girl in the sense that like, oh, the relationship was so bad or she cheated or this or but for me, the trauma comes from like disappointment. Like, hey, I'm looking for this type of person. This is what I like. And they're like, oh, I like that too. And I'm this type of person. And then it's like, ugh, no, you're not. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, you're like, oh man, like, why did I give this person an opportunity? Like, nope. And I think that's what she's saying, where it's like, you sometimes get to a point and you're just like, all right, man. You know what I mean? Like you love, you love the marriage and you love wanting to have kids or whatever. But ultimately, I feel like some people get to a place where you're like, yo, I love my peace more than I love love. And hopefully you always keep a little bit of hope in the background and being like, like maybe I was wrong about this person. Let's see. Or B, like maybe I was wrong. And, yeah, I do have a high standards and a high value system. And I know I bring a lot and I want to make sure that she brings a lot. And I want to make sure this, I want to make sure that. And sometimes things could look really grim out here in this world, but hopefully like, who knows? I just saw something with Gayle King, I think it was yesterday, where she's 7 years old and she's like, I'm not giving up on love. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? So yeah, I hope that, but I do totally agree with being able to be like, I love love, but I love me and I love my peace more, and just be willing to be like, I'm going to just go through life without being married and not having kids, because you do not want to lower your bar, and because of whatever the event was, whether as a woman, where there was a bad guy, he lied or he did this or whatever, or a guy's point of view, where for me, I can only talk about me, where I have been just let down or like disappointed, being like, ugh, like you're not this strong, uplifting, amazing person that I need and who I'm looking for. And it's like, or sometimes it's like, oh, we share these same values. And it's like, ugh, no, we don't. Or, a lot, sometimes too, it's like family. Family is really important to me. My family has sacrificed, come from Jamaica, did this, whatever, blah, blah. And then I look at your family and it's like, that sucks sometimes. I've been in that situation when I was young, and I really like this girl, but her family, I was just like, you got to think about that. And just to make a little asterisk beside this is that I think I was super fair in that situation, because I looked at her family and I was like, okay, they definitely not have what my family had bring, and it's definitely like opposite. But if the person can see that there's inconsistency in the family and generational issues, but she wants to change it and say, look, I love my family, but I want to break from this trauma. I want to break from what they have done, and I want to be the first one to change. I'm down with that. I am down. But if I see you, again, everybody shows up as, oh yeah, I'm perfect, da 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 da. And then I'm like, oh, I see things. And I'm like, I meet your family. Then I'm like, now I'm seeing. And then you're like, yeah, I'm just going to be like them anyways. you got to be able to break. Like, we need to be going up here, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need, like my grandmother always says, we need to reach for the moon. Even if we don't make it, we'll fall amongst the stars. But if you just want to stay with, you know, with what your family was doing and you're not ready to break from that. Anyways, I'm going on too much. Let's go to the next story. All right. Why you should never worry if she texts other guys. Oh my gosh. Listen to this entire thing. It's like a minute and a half long. I should have started out number one with this. Listen.
Why I'll never worry if she's texting other guys, because I've learned peace doesn't come from control. It comes from confidence.
Peace doesn't come from control. It comes from confidence. Whoo! You don't want your peace from control. You want it from confidence in your girl. Like, I know my girl. Like, what? I'm not controlling my girl. I know my girl. I know my girl's gonna be right here. And she's gonna be here right here because of her, not because it's me controlling her. Listen.
The door's always open.
Yeah.
She's free to leave whenever she wants.
Yeah.
And that freedom keeps love real. I'll never check her phone, never ask for passwords, because trust built on proof isn't trust. It's fear dressed as security.
If my calm depends on what she's doing when I'm not around, then I'm not in love. I'm in anxiety disguised as affection.
If my calm depends on what she's doing when I'm not around, then I'm not in love. I'm in anxiety. Whoo!
And her loyalty doesn't prove my worth. My value doesn't change based on who chooses to see it or ignore it.
And you can cage someone's body, but not their heart. And love that stays because it's trapped was never love to begin with.
Love that stays because it's trapped was never love to begin with. Oh my gosh.
I'd rather trust her and be wrong than control her and be right. Because freedom reveals truth faster than fear ever could.
If one day she starts seeking validation somewhere else, I won't beg, I won't chase. I'll simply let her go with peace in my chest. Because love should never feel like surveillance. And if she ever leaves, I'll just smile, open the door, and thank her for reminding me that real trust stands on its own.
If you are in a relationship with somebody, if you are married, and you feel like the only way for you to get through this marriage and trust the person who you're with is snooping through their phone and being like, okay, she's not talking to a guy, or, oh yeah, okay, he's not talking to any girls. Divorce that person right now. Break up. That relationship is over. You have to be able to feel like your girl is right here. You got to feel like your guy is right here. If you need constant reassurance, that's not your girl or that's not your guy. It's not. And I know it might be hard to wrap your head around that, but it's not about finding something. It's about the feeling. It's not about if the person is cheating or not. It's about the feeling. And sometimes it's your own inner working. Some people have trust issues. I know I have trust issues. But the person who you're with, A, has to know that you have trust issues if you do have trust issues and work on that accordingly while you work on it. And a lot of people have trust issues. Don't pull yourself like, oh, I have trust issues. Some have more than others, but a lot of us do. So yes, that person has to acknowledge that, and it's up for you to tell them that. But also, it's not about the actual action. It's about how that relationship feels. It's the feeling. Like I said, it's not about, or I've said before, it's not necessarily if a person was with another person. It's about, even to me, if a person just wants to be in company with another person, I feel like that could be cheating as well too. Do you want to share time with another person? It's not only just the act. So if you are in a relationship and you are feeling like there's a disconnect, so much so that you need to check, there's a problem with the relationship. And that's why I never tell anybody what to do, not to do, who to. Hey, you want it, if that's what you want to do, okay, well, you're not ready for this relationship, and this relationship is not going to move to this point, or the relationship is going to end. That could be like in the dating process. But I will never try to be controlling. I will never, you did it. I love that. That's why I love this statement. Like, oh, that just shows me what you want to do. Thank you. Why do I want to put so many things in place that a girl can't do something? I want to put as much things in place that you can do, because you will know, you will get your answers, and I will get my answers. It was kind of like yesterday in social discussion where we played that girl. She's like, I want to go into your world. Like, I want to go into your world and see what's up. So why am I going to tell you, yo, you can't go outside dressed like this. You cannot be on Instagram. You got to lock all your social medias. You cannot do this. You cannot do that. You can't do this, whatever. Da, da. Now you're just locked in the house. Now you're never going to really know. Please do all of it. I beg you, please, because it's going to answer the question. I'm going to know how you feel about me, and you're going to know how you feel about me. Please do all of it. And while you're doing all of it, if I feel like I got to monitor it, I know that you're not the girl for me. You got to get away from the, not get away. You got to get to the real truth. And people are afraid of the real truth. You got to get to the real truth. And that's what this guy is saying. You're going to put up barriers because you want something so bad, but never really know if it's actually yours. Go. Please, come back and be honest and let me know. And even if you don't, I'll still know anyways. I'll get a feeling and I'll live by that feeling. Woo! Love, love, love this. All right, this is a quick continuation from that last one. Oprah says that she was cheated on. She used to follow him to his girlfriend's house. This was before Stedman, but a quick clip on Oprah saying why you shouldn't snoop in someone's phone. Take a listen.
Stedman is so fine. He has always been fine. He's always been fine. What you do with all of this, Oprah? What you do with all of that? But this is the thing. I've never snooped. Okay. This is the thing. You need somebody where you don't have to snoop. Okay. That's number one. Right. That's right. If you got to snoop, it's already a problem. So if you think I got to check his phone, I got to look at his wallet. I've been there. I've been there.
She goes on to say she's been there. She's been there before. She went to her last boyfriend. She followed him to this girl's house, and then he still even denied it. And that's when she realized, like, you shouldn't even want to be there. So anyways, that was just a continuation to just show you from Mom or Oprah. Let's go to the next one quickly. Okay, our 9th social discussion. Why men cheat with less attractive women. You're going to hear she doesn't even answer this, but I have the answer for you, ladies. Okay, take a listen.
Why do men cheat with a less attractive woman?
It's not attractive women that you have to be worried about. You have to be worried about the unattractive women, because those are the ones who want attention from a man who has a hot girl. They might be more insecure. He's going to cheat on you with someone uglier who wants validation.
So she is more talking about the girl, why a less attractive girl is going to be with a guy. We kind of talked about that yesterday, but that's one answer. We're like, hey, I'm less attractive. He has a hot girlfriend. If he wants to be with me, that makes me feel hot. That's your own insecurities. But she still doesn't answer why a man cheats with a less attractive woman. Let me tell y'all why, okay? Most men that like attractive women, and I have been very adamant in saying that, yes, I like a pretty girl, but it's not my first prerequisite, but we won't get into that today. But the guy that his first prerequisite is a pretty girl, oh my gosh, she's so hot, that's an insecure man that needs a hot girl on his arm, so his boys are like, oh my gosh, you got this hot girl. 9 times out of 10, maybe not 9 times out of 10, let's say 7 times out of 10, it's not a good relationship. It's only because she's hot and she is with him for some other superficial reason, and the relationship is superficial. And you know what he's going to need? He needs some sort of realness. So the less attractive woman that's probably more real, more down, the bedroom is more exciting, more fun, etc. He's with her because he doesn't care about attraction. And again, it's not that you don't care about attraction, but it's not the preliminary thing. So a lot of hot girls are like, oh, I'm going to have a hot guy. You're just getting you're a hot girl that's getting a guy that's insecure, and he's going to fulfill the actual relationship part and the actual fun part with the less attractive girl, because the less attractive girl, Unfortunately, she's less attractive, so she is going to get him with her personality, with her fun, because she has figured out that she could get a guy being real. This is really a tangled web we weave, but because she is not as attractive as a prettier girl, she's more depending on her personality, on her fun, and maybe more fun in the bedroom. And he's going to go to that. So it's crazy that girls are like try to compete with other attractive women. It's not the attractive woman that you need to worry about at all. It's the fun girl. It's the girl with personality. It's the girl that wants to pour into him. So sorry, I even forgot that. It's the girl who wants to pour into him. It's the girl that is giving him conversation. It's the girl who is, filling him up, right? Because you're still a human being at the end of the day. Even if you're shallow and you want the trophy wife, you're still a human being and you need the human element to fill you up. So the hot girl that has nothing to her other than she's hot, you're still, as a human being, I don't care even if you're shallow, you still need to be filled up. And this less attractive girl is filling the human side up, is fueling the, I want to help you with this. I want to build with you. I want to do this. I want to have fun. I want to do fun stuff. I don't want to make you wait. And I'm looking in the mirror all the time, doing my makeup and checking all this or whatever. No. We're just together, bumming around, having fun. And that is why even the shallow guy that thinks he wants an attractive girl is still human at the end of the day and goes with the quote unquote less attractive person. But really, in actuality, she's actually really more attractive. And that's why for me, I don't need the hottest girl in the world, because I'm always in touch with the human side of me. And I want everything. I want a hot girl but I also know that I want somebody who's going to fulfill me, who's going to uplift me, who's going to have her thing that I could try to uplift her, that we could have a family that we all talked about, right? So you try to get everything all together. Some men are just like, I'll just take the hot girl and, do some little thing on the side. That is the reason why guys will go with a quote unquote less attractive, but actuality, they're really more attractive because they have more to them and have great conversation and they're more human, because humans are always going to human. All right, our last one, dating rules have double standards. Okay, listen to this.
Like, I went over to a guy's house and he'd be like, oh, can you do my laundry? I'd be like, no. Maybe if I were in a long-term relationship with him and I lived with him, yeah, for sure.
So should men wait until they're in long-term relationships and only start paying for dates then?
I don't know.
Oh, wow. You don't know?
I mean, no, I do know. I mean,
should men withhold chivalry until the woman's his girlfriend?
I don't think they would get into a relationship if they didn't have chivalry, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's you're right.
Yeah.
You're spot on. The men have to front load all the traditional gender roles or whatever. They have to front load it. But it's interesting. So I guess the question again, though, comes to, what do women do?
What do you want them to do?
I'm asking you. I know what I want women to do.
What do I do?
But what do you do? What do any women do, really?
No, if you're willing to sleep with a man, you should be okay with folding his laundry. I'm sorry, but that's the truth of it.
Okay. I don't know if I agree with it or not or whatever, but here's my take. I think they're using the laundry thing as an example, because I think on a first date being fold my laundry, I think that's weird. But I think he's using that to make a point to say, you could be asexual with somebody, but you can't do other things. A girl that comes and it's I'm not cooking, or I'm not doing this, or I'm not doing the quote unquote feminine things, or I'm not doing these things that you're looking for. I'll only do that for a long-term relationship. We talked about this yesterday. People are going to be people. People are going to be who they are. And 100% agree with the fact of women will say, oh, we could do that thing at night, the sex thing, but we're not going to do this. But also too, you do your manly thing where you take me out. I need to do this. I need to do that, whatever, but you're going to wait for long term. That's baloney. That's a girl that she's either using the guy, she's lost in her own head, and she just has her own issues. I'm not even going to try to figure that girl out, because I know one thing is that A person is going to be a person. So while I agree that that double standard doesn't make sense, and that's something that women need to look into, you could have SCX, but then no, you can't fold their laundry. No, you can't fold this, and no, you can't do things at their house. I think it should be the other way around. You know what I'm saying? You should build to that. But like I said, that's a whole other thing. But most importantly, guys, listen to this. I'm telling you, and girls, people are going to be who they are. So if somebody is going to be at your house and they're not going to cook, they're not innate cookers. And when you get into a serious relationship, then they're going to be cookers. Or if there's somebody who's going to help you clean up your house, or if they're going to be somebody who pours into you, or if there's going to be somebody, whatever the person is doing in the dating phase, and they're like, oh, I'll do this when this, BS. You are who you are. And that's it. That's it. And again, like I said, the laundry thing on the first date is crazy, but like 2, 3, 4 times you've slept over, but you're like, oh yeah, well, when we're married, I'd wake up every day and cook you breakfast. Stop. People are going to be who they are. But it is something to think about, ladies. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. But I want a guy to do this, and I could do this and do this. And we could have SCX, but you cannot have this, this, and this. That's crazy work. All right. That's the end of like the longest social discussion we have ever had. Let me know if you guys think it was too much. I don't know if it'll be 10 every day, but whew, this gets me excited. It was kind of fun. Let me know what you guys think about the new social discussion in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to, oops, wrong one. This brings us to question of the day. What's a word that randomly irritates you? All right, first person said mines. Okay. Another person said can. All right. This is a better one. Grand rising. Some people have said that to me, like, hey, grand rising, king. It doesn't irritate me, but I'm on the fence about it. Another person says, someone calling me love. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. That's kind of irritating. Relax. I can get that. Diabolical. I like that word, actually. Ooh, that's diabolical. That has really been like a newer thing. I feel like people are kind of overusing it, so I could get why you are starting to get annoyed by it. It is starting to be too common. What else? Wednesday, because who the F decided that's how it should be spelled? Okay. Somebody said irregardless because that's not a word. I say irregardless sometimes, and I know it's just regardless. Like, I can get that. Some people said 6, 7. I don't know why people are so irritated by 6, 7. I get that it's like gone on way too long, but I don't know if it will irritate me. Another person said grand rising. Another person said babes. I don't mind it. Twin. We're not related and we're not the same kind. I don't know. What's up, twin? I don't use that. I don't feel like it's annoying, but I could see how it could get annoying. Another person said period, big mama. Another person said am instead of I'm. Okay. Pacific because it's specific. Salmon pronounced with an L. Yeah, it's salmon. Even I'm dyslexic and I don't say salmon, I know it's salmon. New Year's, 100%. It's New Year. Happy New Year, not New Year's. Love that. Anything y'all put S on that doesn't deserve an S, 1000%. Type-ish, obsessed, irregardless, period, queen. I still like queen. What's up, queen? All right, queen. I won't say what's up, queen, but I will like telling a girl that she's my queen or that she is a queen. Even if it's not my queen, it's like, yo, just remember who you are. Remember you are a queen. Remember you are this. Remember you are, you know what I mean? Like, I like it, but I could see how it's overused. Shrimps, moist. 6, 7, bruh. I'll admit, bruh is annoying, and sometimes I say, if I get worked up, not really here on the show, but I'll say it to somebody, and I especially hate when I say it to a girl. I said it to a girl yesterday, I was like, yo, bruh, and she's like, yeah, bruh, and yeah, you shouldn't talk to a lady like that. It's just when I get caught up. Moist. Is people really saying moist that much? Sure. Work. Broke. All right, that's it. All right, let me know what a word is that irritates you guys in the comment section below. All right, y'all, that is it. That's a wrap on this very long show. Please let me know what you guys think about social discussions, all right? Before I let you go, just want to remind you of 3 quick things. For those of you who are looking to give back to the show, remember there is a thanks button at the bottom of every single video. Best way to give back instead of PayPal and Venmo, all right? Also, please sign up for the Out Loud membership. You'll see the first link below and above me. Also, give back to yourself. Sign up with the first link or the QR code beside me. Sign up for Aura. If you do anything online, your information is at risk. Aura could take it off free for the next 14 days. So make sure you try them out. Also, just want to remind you guys of all the ways to keep up with the Trend Out Loud show. For those of you who like podcasts and like to listen, head on over to any podcast site, type in Trend Out Loud, the show will pop up. Do not forget to hit the follow and subscribe button so you can be notified every time we upload a new show. For those of you who are like me and like video, head on over to YouTube, type in Trend Out Loud. When the show pops up, I'm going to need you to do 6 things. I'm going to run it by it quickly because the show's getting long. I'm going to need you to do 6 things. Hit that subscribe and hit that like button. Get the algorithming. Most important to me, please try to comment below. You guys are my co-hosts. I need y'all to do this show. 4th, for those of you, if you don't want to join in on conversation, let me know which country or city that you are watching from or listening from. I look at all the comments before I go to sleep every night, and I love to see which country or city you guys are watching from. So if you don't want to join in on conversation, let me know where you're watching from. 4th of all, for those of you who are really loving the show, please try to share it with your family, friends, and loved ones. We're here trying to grow this channel, grow this platform. We're trying to make it over on Netflix, all right? You want to get paid by Netflix. So help in sharing the show. 5th, please sign up for the Out Loud membership. And 6th, use that thanks button below to give back to your favorite YouTube host. Now, before I let you go, just want to remind you guys of all the ways to keep up with the Trend Out Loud show. I'm rushing and I'm making it longer because I'm not thinking straight. Now, for those of you who want to follow me outside of the show, I'm available on all social platforms, and it's also the same handle, Trend Out Loud. I'm most active on Instagram. And speaking of Instagram, please try to follow our show page, The Trend Out Loud Show, on the gram, and stay connected 360 degrees, all right? Thank you so much for kicking with me. I hope we made your Tuesday night or Wednesday morning a little bit more enjoyable, whether it was on your way from work, home from work, working out, going to bed, getting your makeup done, getting dressed, however you digest this show. I hope we were able to make your process a little bit more fun, a little bit more enjoyable. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Same time, same place. Peace! Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trend Out Loud. Peace!